Welcome back. You're still watching Nile Cruise, the 23rd Cairo International Festival for Contemporary and Experimental Theatre kicked off on the 20th September and runs until the 30th of September. The festival is one of two large-scale state-run festivals taking place in Egypt, with the second one being, of course, the Cairo International Film Festival, and is presided over by the former president of the Academy of Arts, Sameh Mahran. A total of 29 plays are staged during the 10-day festival. 13 are from Egypt and 6 from other Arab countries, including Tunisia, Lebanon, the United Arab Emirates, Iraq, and 10 plays from Chile, Sweden, Armenia, and the US, Russia, Moldova, Rwanda, and Poland.
Right, and we're very delighted to have with us here live in Nile Cruise Mr. Hussein, or Director Hussein Al-Ansari. He's a critic, art professor at Al-Mustansiriya University from, of course, Iraq, and Mr. George Bartaniev. He's a producer, actor, director, co-artistic director, Theater 3 Collaborative from New York in the United States of America. And hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Thank you very much for joining us, and maybe let's start first about this festival. How is it the first time? How are you participating as a critic here?
I'm very happy when the festival returned back again after 5 years or 6 years. It stopped last night. Last year, last time. I think. The festival very important now because we need theater and drama will be. It is the a part of the development of the society and our life. That I think the festival now it is very, very important.
Right, Mr. Bartaniev. Of course, if this is your first visit to such a festival, the experimental theater here in Egypt have been very popular, like Mr. Al-Ansari have said. I mean, it only stopped for 5 or 4 years, but has been very popular. It has produced generations and generations of stars and mega stars and very successful directors who have grabbed awards worldwide. It has stopped for a while. Given the fact that you're giving your visit now, and probably if you are participating or having any activities to do with this current festival, how do you observe it, and what type of experimental festival do you describe it here? Well, as an expert?
Actually I was here once before in '99, and I was amazed at the range of work. And that, Cairo is in this amazing place between East and West. And so when you come here, you see work from all these countries. It's so important for artists to come together in one place like this in the middle and show their work. And as the gentleman said, it's very, very inspiring and moving, and I love to see other artists work because I have my own theater in New York, and I'm partner with a playwright, and together we make projects, and to see other people's work that is totally different is always inspiring.
Yes. And speaking about theater in New York, this is really big because I understand how New Yorkers they enjoy theaters. It's part of the culture. And if you can share with us also the experience about the challenges over there, and how is theater developed?
Yes, well, I was I was lucky enough to be part of the 60s and 70s experimental movement. So I had a lot of experience in it, and there isn't so much experimentation now in New York, and in fact there isn't so much good theater anymore. So it's very wonderful that this festival is being revived. I'm very grateful and privileged to be here for that reason. And so because we're always we always need inspiration from others to keep going and generate new work.
Yes.
Right. Actually, I'm supposed to direct my question to you, Mr. Al-Ansari, but the question is of you.
Yeah, okay.
Talking about experimental theater, we all know that in New York, for example, the first site or the first place that you should go see, or a play that you should go, is to go to Radio City and enjoy. I mean, like a tourist or a visitor. People really don't think, where are the places where we can go and watch experimental plays? Here in Cairo, it's different. There are commercial plays and there is commercial theater, but Radio City has been very, very popular in Manhattan, New York, and it has hosted many, many popular plays. Why do you think it's grabbing all the light and attention away from other types of theater?
Why
do you think it's grabbing all the light and attention from other types of theater? I mean, people from outside the United States would come.
You mean experimental theater?
Right.
Yes, because experimental theater is where the new ideas and the new passion and the new visions that we need so much come from. You know, I once went to raise money for experimental theater, which is not easy, as you may imagine, and I went up to see the biggest money man at Exxon Mobil, okay? And as I went up the elevator, I thought to myself, my God, what am I going to say to this man? And suddenly an idea came in my mind, and when I walked in, he said, hello, and I said, hi. I wanted to tell you something which I haven't been able to tell anyone else. I know that you've given a lot of money to the symphony orchestras and the ballet and the opera, but you never give money to the people who invent new theater. And when we invent it, next week they will be doing it on Broadway. And that is actually, you know, the process and the importance of experimental theater. As a matter of fact, I started out in commercial theater on Broadway when I was 14 years old.
Really?
And then I went to school to study as a classical actor. And when I got out and I came back to the theater, everything that was happening downtown in the experimental theater.
Yes.
And so I started to go to the experimental theater, and then I was totally convinced that's where everything exciting was taking place, because they were talking to us in the moment, the historical moment that we are all going through, and they were responding with their new ideas and new ways of doing theater, and that is always what matters. Theater, good theater only comes when that kind of energy, that kind of creativity is suddenly awakened.
As well as, you know, the theater drama is a very long time, but now we need trying with a new styles. When the theater group come here in the festival in Cairo, we will show many types, many styles. Example, yesterday we saw from Poland the best performance, Mollere, by the director used the puppet, and we saw very interesting acting in this performance. So I think the student and the audience must see like this style every years, when the Cairo Festival in the next time or now. But I think we need like that.
Yes. And this is an important thing, you know, catching and grabbing the new ideas. What else did you capture so far from the festival as new creative ideas within the experimental theater?
You know, the thing with experimental theater, what makes it exciting, especially when it comes from different countries, is that there's a cultural background to every theater, every art. You know, every good art makes a difference. But what's interesting is that it comes from a culture, and the culture itself interacting with the artist and vice versa. This is what produces a new passion. And for instance, the Egyptian work that I saw the first night was quite amazing because it was its own version of experimental ideas. And that's what I think every country does. It reinvents it according to what it wants to say and what it wants to express.
Or what are they going through?
Yes,
the event
exactly what they are going through, and that makes it very powerful.
Right. That would bring us to another question to Mr. Al-Ansari.
Yes.
Experimental theater, I mean, while I was doing my coverages back then before it stopped, we found that like it becomes very popular. The experimental theater that is coming from Eastern Europe and North Africa.
Yes.
Speaking about culture, for example, Mr. Bartanif has drew our attention to a very important point. What is it in the culture that would make the experimental theater make it to boom like that, that way, and flourish?
I tell you what I think. It has a lot to do with the fact what we discovered in the 60s was that if you join different art disciplines together, dance, music, and you bring these people together with the text, the poetry, and the ideas, you can make theater much more exciting, number one, and also expressive, and also it makes it possible for people not to have to follow the text so much as the whole experience. If you go to a wedding, okay, you will enjoy the food, you will enjoy the music, you will enjoy the dancing. That is exactly what experimental theater does.
True.
And I worked the last time in Sweden, some director in theater. The text written by Arabic man, actors from Sweden, director from Iraq. I think when we present like this performance from all countries, that is very, very, very good.
Yes.
We will know many culture about all the population and these countries. And this festival, we saw many performance, take part in this performance, many people from many countries. I think now we know and under a globalization world like this.
Speaking maybe about culture, how, being a critic, when you're looking at experimental theater, do you research more about the culture in depth before you watch a play?
I think under this festival, we saw many performances have a little experimental in this. I think 3 or 4 performances have experimental, but other which is
Right,
usual
right.
performance.
Mr. George Bartaniev, producer, actor, director, co-artistic director, Theatre 3 Collaborative from New York, the United States, and Mr. Hussein Ansari, critic and art professor in Al Mustansiriya University, Iraq. We'd like to thank you, gentlemen, very much for your valuable input. Best of luck.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for
Thank you, same here. And I guess we're going to go to a short break. We're going to go to the Sama Festival, that is spiritual music, beautiful kind of music that we would wish that you enjoy, and we'll come back to you with the rest of the coverage of experimental theater. Stay with us.
Thank you.